Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how to produce amazing art prints without a printer. This is not magic. It is called print on demand or POD. If you have not heard about this term, don't worry. I will walk you through the basics and how to use POD as an artist. I want to do this because I was doing research about this series of video how to make art prints, and I saw a lot of artists on YouTube or still making it the brick and mortar way. That is to say, using the Epson HP kind of printers, the ink cartridges, and produce in their home or at their studios. There's nothing wrong with that. It is fine. The quality is alright, and the archival quality paper will make amazing prints. However, there are some problems. It is not for everyone. Number one issue is, what if you are a student and you don't have a lot of money? It requires a lot of upfront investment. You need to buy the printer, the paper, the reload for the cartridges. And did you know how expensive are the cartridges? This inkjet cartridges could be the most expensive liquid on earth. That is more expensive than gold. I will drop you a link below to a video that talked about this. Number two, it's noisy. If you share the apartment, or if the walls are a bit too thin and your neighbors could hear this machine clunk, clunk, clunk in the middle of the night because you have a lot of prints to do, and it can be very annoying for your neighbors and for yourself. And number three, the size has a limitation. Obviously, those home printers can only print the size like up to A4, and your print will look like this. But if you want a poster size to look like this, it will not happen, because it needs the printer to be, let's say, 60 centimeter wide or 1 meter wide, and that kind of bad boys would cost you 5 grand to 10 to 15 grand just to purchase, and after you have to invest in the paper, the maintenance, and you have to learn how to use them, and it's very costly, very troublesome. And what if you are just an emerging artist and you're not sure if you're committed to producing art prints for your fans? What would you do? And that's why you need to choose print-on-demand service providers to solve this problem, so you can make amazing prints again without a printer. What is print-on-demand? It is a business process, has been developed not long ago. When I was young, we didn't have that. So it's a new process that allows a single print or copy to be produced on demand without having to produce a lot up front. I'll give you an example. You are an artist and you want to sell art prints, let's say posters, to your fans on Instagram. What you need to do is to find a provider of your choice online. With their tools, you can produce a link, generate a mockup, and then you share that link with your fans. Once an order is placed and paid for, it will trigger this production to be fulfilled. So then the printer will work, and then the workers will package and will ship directly to your fans. It will not go through you. So you don't need to do anything besides sharing that link and talking to your fans and maybe getting some feedback, so later you can print on different things. Maybe later you want to print on a t-shirt. This is also your choice. Most of print-on-demand service providers do a wide range of products, so you don't have to invest in the machines and learn how to do that yourself. This is really convenient. It is really evolutionary. When I was young, my parents worked in the publishing industry, and they were telling me, again, this publisher bankrupt, another one had to close down because they're not profitable. Why not profitable? Because the offset printing technology is very costly. So if you want to generate an issue of a newspaper, only makes sense to produce in a large quantity. So if you have one print, it will not make sense in old times. But thanks to digital printing, nowadays you can print very small amount and still being able to maintain the cost at very low prices. It's an amazing tool you can use as an artist, especially international artists who has fans everywhere in the world. Using POD will allow you the maximum flexibility, no inventory, no upfront investment, a lot of scalability. That is to say, one day you print one, another day you need to print 10,000. You can overnight without having to worry about the capacity, and that is the beauty of print on demand. There are generally two ways an artist could use print-on-demand service providers. The first way is by using the marketplaces. The second is by using your own storefront. And I'll explain you the pros and cons and different implications of both. Perhaps you have heard about Society6, Redbubble, such websites. They allow you to upload an image and then select a wide range of products from prints to t-shirts. You can print your art on a t-shirt if this is also what you want to do to make merchandising, but also you can just say only on art prints, posters, and framed art, nothing else. That's totally your choice. You upload an image and then you just sit down and wait for the money to come in. They will share around 10% of the commission from the whole sales price, and then the 90% goes to their costs. There are 3 things you really should know before start selling with Society6 and Redbubble, such websites. The first thing is you have to be aware that everybody is welcome. No matter if you are a fun artist, contemporary artist, designer, photographer, illustrator, animator, anyone who could produce an image and who allows them to use their image could be Society6 artists and could sell on Society6 and such websites. There's no filter at all, which means even if you are a young artist, you're just starting out, you just made your first art, you can still sell on Society6. However, if you are a mature artist, maybe mid-career or international, you need to think twice because maybe those platforms are not for you. Would you want your art to be sold alongside with very newbie artists, not from your niche or not the kind of brand that you like to be associated with? Then maybe Society6 or Redbubble are not the right platforms for you. But things are changing though. Before, Airbnb was just for rooms or for homes, and today there are many hotels are using Airbnb as well. So maybe in the future there's gonna be one platform that is more niche to artists only, or to street artists, or to your niche. You need to keep an eye on it, and once this platform exists, you can be the first few artists to use them. And things are changing very rapidly those days. I can never say like, oh, don't go to Society6 if you're famous. Maybe things will change. So this is the first thing you need to know. There's no filter to it. Number 2, you don't need to have a website to use those platforms. Those platforms are actually replacement for your website, conveniently or inconveniently. 60% of artists we surveyed in our community do not have a website. So if you don't have a website and you want to sell your art or art prints, what can you do? You don't have a mean to charge them. Obviously, you're not going to say, come to my studio with cash. No, you can't, because your collectors are everywhere in the world. So this is why you can consider using Society6 before having the website as a first step, because they have everything already established and all you need to do is hit the upload button and let them print things for you. Number 3, there is zero maintenance, but also zero control. Zero maintenance is to say you don't need to worry about the IT, you don't need to worry about the marketing, the whatsoever. They have their teams operating 24/7 for you to make your orders happen, to promote your brand. So in many ways it is great convenience, but at the same time you don't really have control over when they push it to the newsletter, or if they do ever, you don't really have much control. Especially some products, they don't even let you set the prices, so you just upload and let them do everything and get your 10%. That is pretty much what you can do, and you have to feel alright with it. If you want more control, there is the second way how you could use print-on-demand service providers in a full controlled way. That is using your own storefront. You need to first set up your own storefront. You can have a website, but you don't have to, but you need to have a storefront. For example, you can have a Shopify, Store Envy kind, or Etsy kind. You need to set up a store. My favorite is starting with Big Cartel because it is free. You can upload up to 5 items on Big Cartel for free, and each item you can upload one single image and a short description. You don't really need much. I would say this is a perfect start. And if you don't have more than 5 art prints to sell, you can also put original artworks as well. It's alright. You can sell works, prints all mixed in the same store. You can sell merchandising as well. So once you have the 5 items, and then you go to the provider's website and then link the items and sync them together, you can have different combinations depending on what kind of items, where you are in the world, where are your customers in the world. There are different things that you can choose from for your convenience. You can even integrate different providers all in the same store. For example, you can have Shopify with Printful, Shopify with Printify, you can have Big Cartel with printful. You have unlimited combinations, and depending where you are in the world, you can have even some more niche local providers. Like if you're in Germany, there is an equivalent of printful in Germany. Really, there are a lot of possibilities you need to investigate into. However, there are 3 things you really need to know before open shop. Otherwise, while you are selling, you could be charged and you can be billed by the tax authority, and you can be liable for a large penalty. So take care of the 3 things before open shop. The first thing you need to know is that there are 2 transactions for each order. The first transaction is when the customer walks into your store and places an order. That's the first transaction. Imagine if you're selling this art print for $29.99 and then the customer pays you $29.99, the first transaction. And then there's a second one, is you pay Printful to produce that order, or another POD provider. That's the second transaction. Maybe it is $19.99 including shipping, so that you have 10 in your pocket. So that 2 transactions. A lot of people think there is only 1 transaction. That is, Printful charges the customer. No, it doesn't work like that. So you are a business owner because you have your own storefront. A supermarket would get fruits from the farmers and then sell to the customers. Is the same. There are 2 transactions, not 1. The second thing you need to know is that you are liable for taxes around the world. You're not only liable for the country that you are based in, because you have to obviously pay for the business license and everything to your own residence country. Maybe it's Spain, maybe it's Italy, maybe it is USA, maybe it is another country. You need to consult a local tax accountant to get to know the obligations, but you might be also liable to pay taxes elsewhere. Imagine if Printful is in the US. You have a lot of sales in a state, and maybe you are also liable for the state where the sales are taking place, or maybe that you have to pay taxes in the state where Printful facility is located. Maybe you'll never reach the threshold for each state, because they can be very high threshold and you'll not need to pay taxes if you don't reach, let's say, 15,000 euro or dollars. That's okay, but you need to know what are your tax obligations to have a clue. This is just a small precaution warning so that you are at least aware of the situation. Number 3, those POD providers are white labeled. That is to say, they don't put their logo on their packaging. If you don't want your customers to know who had fulfilled your orders, you don't have to let them know. Usually by default, the orders does not appear Printful logo or Printify logo, so that you can label your own logo. You can have more customized packaging depending on which company you go with. They can even put like your logo printed on the packaging. In the future, maybe they can even print a certificate of authenticity on your behalf and slip it into the print. Depending on the company, depending on the on your choices, and also evolution with time. Maybe in the future, there are a lot of new things can be included because of the artist demand, the market demand. Keep your eyes open and stay tuned. Once the option is available, you can fully utilize different features that the print-on-demand service providers are offering to you as an artist. As a conclusion, if you go with Society 6 and Redbubble, you have the ultimate convenience, no investment, nothing to worry about, but the payout is very minimal. You only get the friction of what they make, but also they will take care of, let's say, 90% of the work by taking 90% of the money. On the contrary, if you choose to do your own storefront, you might need to pay for the service, such as Shopify, Big Cartel, depending on what kind of service you use and how much you use them. It's the ultimate control, but you need to take care of taxes, you need to take care of the transactions, customer service, a lot of the things that is on you, not on the POD, because they are just printers, right? So you are the artist, you are the brand, they are the labor work behind, and you still need to take a huge chunk of the responsibility and liability, and you take a lot of money, of course, as well. It's really depending on your needs as an artist, your strategy as a brand, and your market demand. Is the demand large enough for you to open shop and pay Shopify? Or is it something that you want to test water and just to do a Society 6 just to try? It is your freedom, and you can choose to have both in different stage, and you can transit from one to another. I would just like you to know the options. You have the ultimate freedom of choice. If you have any questions regarding print on demand, let me know in the comment below. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.